What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Clone Wars Chronological Rewatch.
We're still doing these.
Yep. I don't remember the last time we recorded one of these, and I don't even know when the one before this came out last, or when this will come out.
I think it was the holidays. We were probably wearing our Christmas sweaters.
I have no idea. But we're still plugging away at Season 6. We're moving into the Clovis arc with the episode An Old Friend. And this is the one where Padme and Clovis, surprisingly, are trying to infiltrate the banking clan to prove that they have no money, that they're basically playing both sides of the war, which we already knew, but they're lying to both sides of the war. And so Padme is trying to uncover corruption within the banks.
Mm-hmm.
This was kind of a weird one.
Yeah.
All of Season 6, not all of it, but some of the episodes, I'm just like, huh. That's what you're going with your final season. Of course, they didn't know that this would be the final season for a little while.
Yeah.
They were just episodes that they had ready.
Yeah. I mean, I always love to see Padme get involved and have, her own arc. But it does feel kind of random that they're just like, okay, let's go see what the banking clan is up to. They're probably up to no good.
Yeah.
But I do like the planet and like the buildings and stuff that they designed for the banking clan.
Yeah, I really like the banking clan's vibe, that it's all based off of Switzerland. They're trying to remain neutral in the war, even though Sand Hill is on the Separatist Council, and everything inside is based off of clocks because of Swiss watches and stuff.
It's very steampunk.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. It feels very George, where he's just like, wouldn't it be cool if? Mm-hmm. And then he says that. And so now all of the Mune stuff looks like watches. And it's like, I don't know. Sometimes people get so wrapped up in like what Star Wars should look like, or whether or not something makes sense, when really everyone involved is more just like, wouldn't it be neat if? Mm-hmm. And they have reasons for it, but it's not necessarily because of lore or anything.
Yeah.
Just rule of cool.
The Clovis in this arc is interesting. You know when Clovis and Padme get together, Anakin is somewhere close behind in the background, just like waiting to explode and be angry.
He knew. He was back on Coruscant and he was mad and he didn't know why. He was just like, something's wrong.
And the way he shows up in this episode, I don't want to skip too far ahead, but he's like so pompous. He's like, oh, Padme, you can't do anything, can you?
Can't take you anywhere. Well, let's get up to that point, because Anakin is really who I want to talk about. I think that the moral of this story is really centered around Anakin and Padme and Clovis. But basically, Clovis tells Padme that he has inside information that the Munes are out of money, that the banking clan is lying about how much money they have, and they're trying to find proof of that. They hatch a scheme. They do that. Unfortunately, Padme's handmaiden Tekla dies in the process. And also, we're kind of seeing that all of this is being manipulated by Palpatine, who hired Embo to kind of like herd people in the right direction.
Yeah, I loved Embo in this episode. He got like a really cool sledding moment with his hat.
Very Willow.
Yeah.
But yeah, that action sequence is really fun with the ship that becomes a sled and then he's surfing down the snow in his helmet. Really neat. Yeah, Embo's great in this, but I was surprised at the end of the episode when he contacts Sidious, and Sidious is like, good job. Like, you did exactly what I wanted you to do.
The whole time you're like, well, he's not killing anyone. He's not
except Tekla. Justice for Tekla.
Justice for Tekla. But like, you kind of feel like he's failing, but no, at the end, Palpatine's like, you did your job. It's like, oh, of course, this is a classic Palpatine move.
Yeah. It does feel like a good reveal where you're like, man, Embo's really not getting things done. And then you're like, oh, okay. He did exactly what Palpatine wanted. Mm-hmm. And it's intriguing as we go into the next episode. Because I don't really remember these episodes very well. In Season 6, I remembered the chip conspiracy. I remember the final arc. But this one and the disappeared episodes are a lot hazier to me. So I'm kind of like watching this with fresh eyes.
We also get Imbo's good boy.
Yeah.
Which was a delightful surprise.
Bringing Imbo his hat back. And
Yeah.
like very proud of himself.
I forget what its name was, but
Morak or something.
space dog, adorable space dragon dog thing. I love it.
But let's talk about Anakin. Because, yeah, he shows up. Padme is imprisoned for conspiracy or something. Espionage. Yeah. And Anakin shows up to bring her home. And, yeah, it's all like, can't take you anywhere. Ha ha ha.
When she's like, Anakin, I've been in this jail cell for like 3 days. Can we just get past this?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's usually him in trouble, so I think he was feeling a little bit of vindication. But then immediately turns it around where it's not like playful teasing anymore because she mentions Clovis. And he's like, I should just leave you in this cell.
Oh, yeah. Just sometimes Anakin is such a big baby. And this is one of those times.
I knew when I was like, okay, we're getting into Clovis stuff, and it's going to be Anakin being jealous, which is absolutely the point. It's showing his possessiveness and his over-attachment and how it can go wrong. And I think there was even a hint of the Imperial March when he threatened to leave her in the cell, where it's just showing like, hey, he's being bad. Mm-hmm. Pay attention to this. But yeah, I think that he plays into the theme of this episode very well, which is to love is to trust is to believe. And I think that where this is how I'm reading it is that Padme trusts Clovis, even though she doesn't at first, but he kind of wins her over, and she is ultimately saying, okay, I believe what you're telling me about the banking clans. That does not mean that she loves Clovis, but I think that Anakin thinks it does, that he's conflating the two. To love is to trust is to believe. So I think Anakin is going backwards in that process, and it doesn't work that way. To trust is to love is not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Like, if you love someone, you inherently trust them as well. If you trust them, that doesn't mean you want to marry them. And
right.
I think that's kind of what Anakin is fighting with in his mind.
And like, yeah, Anakin loves Padme, so therefore he trusts her. Anakin does not love Clovis. In fact, he hates him. So,
yeah. And so he is having a hard time trusting him as well.
Yes, and it doesn't work kind of like twofold, like because Padme trusts Clovis, that there's nothing she can say to convince Anakin to trust him at this point.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of that whole like all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares.
Yeah.
It's like that. And I think Anakin can't separate those two in his mind, where it's like if Padme trusts anyone, she must love them. And we kind of see that with Obi-Wan too. Mm-hmm. Even though Obi-Wan just sneaks aboard, but I think Anakin gets a little jealous of Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I think. Do you have anything else to say about this episode?
No, I liked the banking clan stuff. I thought the design was really cool. Love seeing Padme-centric arcs. And yeah, Anakin's being a big baby.
As usual. Well, that is it for this one. Next time, we're going to be talking about The Rise of Clovis, episode 2 out of this 3-episode arc. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.